Dr. Paul Blanchfield, who also just happens to be my husband, also had a dream, and his dream was to look into the future. He wanted to know, how will climate change affect fish and fish habitat? Because a warming climate is also a drier climate. What are the impacts of less rain, less water running off a watershed and into the lake? How does that affect the quality of the habitat for fish? How will the fish populations respond? Scientists didn't have an answer to that. So what Dr. Blanchfield did was divert water that was flowing into Lake 66 into a downstream lake, reducing water flow to Lake 66 by 80%. He received funding from the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, his employer, to the tune of $100,000 in early May of 2012. A few days later, he was surprised, as were his colleagues, that they were called into an emergency meeting by their manager. And in that room, the manager said 4 things. 1, the ELA station was to close next year. Number 2, there would be no new scientific research at ELA. 3, they were all going to lose their jobs. And 4, they're warned not to speak to the media. As you can imagine, they were floored. They were shocked. In fact, the entire scientific community was in shock and disbelief. How could ELA, all these accomplishments, do such important work, do things that are so important for the environment and our own health? How is this possible? How could the Canadian government make this decision? It just didn't make any sense. I happened to be a PhD student at the time, based at the Freshwater Institute, and had the freedom to speak my mind, as I was not employed by DFO, so I sent out a press release as soon as I learned about this meeting. And the next day I realized I had to be a voice for those Muslim scientists. I formed the Coalition to Save ELA with my colleagues Heidi Swanson, Jason Benkus-Warren, and recruited the help of many retired and academic ELA scientists. One of the very first thing we did was launch a social media campaign, something I knew nothing about, but had to learn very quick. Website, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, because we knew it was important. We needed to get the Canadian people on side. We needed to tell them, what is ELA? Why is it important? And importantly, what they can do to help. Next, we gave people things to do. We drafted a petition. We put it on our website so people could download it. Over a short time span, 30,000 Canadians signed this petition. We also worked with Lead Now to have an online campaign. Another approach we used was to write open letters to Canadian ministers. We got some of the top Canadian scientists in the entire world to pen a letter to Prime Minister Harper, Minister Ashfield, and Mr. Kent, telling them about how important the ELA is and calling on them to rescind this completely illogical decision. In order to increase the impact of such a letter, I had it published in the Globe and Mail so everybody could see it, and it could serve as a template for other letters. The other thing we did was we called our colleagues in other countries around the world, asked them to do their part to help save ELA. Letters from as far away as Israel, Japan, Australia were sent to Canadian ministers, telling them how to change their mind because ELA was an international science gem. A big part of my job was keeping the ELA in the public eye by working through the media, always trying to pitch new developments, new angles, so that the media would report on the ELA. So this involved sending out lots of press releases, organizing lots of press conferences, and this led to over 500 articles being published on ELA in 2 years. We also brought the message directly to the people through a number of public events such as town halls, public forums, rallies, and protests. And I'd like to acknowledge Suzanne and Nathan and the Borough Forest Network for helping and sponsoring some of these events. What was amazing was at some point, it stopped, the ELA campaigns stopped being initiated by me and Jason and Heidi, and things were just happening. Things were just happening on their own, and this was quite incredible. Rick Mercer did a rant on ELA. Musicians wrote songs about ELA. NGOs had their own ELA campaigns that I had nothing to do with. Protests were being organized that I played no role in. It was really inspiring to see how many people care about water and believed in the ELA and believed that the Canadian government should be funding something like this.